out of all the ET contact experiences that I've had, there's one profound message that comes through every single time. And I think that there's probably a lot of people out there getting different messages from their ET contact. But there's one that always ends up being relevant for me because it's something that I end up struggling with repeatedly, causing myself to go through this. And the ETs always show up when I start going through this again and I start acting like a Beavis butthead. And they always have the same message for me. And that's why in this video, not only am I going to be sharing with you the number one message that I always get from ETs, but it's also how ETs manifest. How does manifestation work for ETs? What is their strategy? What are they doing? And that's exactly what I'm talking about in this video. So here's the deal with ETs. They are manifesting on a level that is just incredible. And I know this because anytime I feel their presence, there is an innate trust and faith that they have in who they are and the universe, where they know they are always taken care of. They always have every single thing that they need. Like, this is the energy that they radiate. They radiate this energy of like pure vibrational bliss and satisfaction and comfort. They have this coziness to them. It's like they feel super cozy. Like, God, if you've ever had ET contact, what did the ETs feel like to you? Like, what was the energy that they gave off? I know a lot of people here on the channel, they're like me and they dig crystals and stuff. So like, what kind of energy did you feel from the ETs? I'm curious. For me, that's what I always get. They're always radiating this energy of comfort, of coziness, of I am taken care of. And they are so abundant. They're just radiating this like ecstatic abundance. So I know that they are on a level of manifestation where it works so well for them that they're able to be in that state all of the time. Like, I reflect on it like this. Like, I've had periods in my life where I was doing pretty well for myself, you know. For me, finances are kind of like a wave, has been my experience so far. I'm still a young guy, so you know, I'm learning and kind of going with it. But to me, it seems like a wave. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. You just surf it and let it be, you know. But anyways, for me, like when I have been doing really well, there's a certain vibe that I have. Like, I feel relaxed, I feel safe, I feel taken care of. I'm not stressed. All of a sudden, life goes from how do I pay my rent and make food for myself to what do I want to do today? You know, the world is my oyster. Like, what do I want to do? What sounds the most fun to me? Right. And then the times where I am not having a lot of money, I try to remember that it doesn't matter. But in the background, there tends to be sometimes often for me. And maybe you guys can relate with the whole money thing. It can be kind of annoying. Like, you always in the background kind of feel like, oh God, like, what am I going to do? You know? So that's part of the way that I'm reflecting on this is like for the ETs, they are always in the vibe of like they are very well off. You know, they clearly know something about manifestation. And the interesting thing is that they always come in, and I have these contact experiences with which, if you're interested to hear more about my actual ET contact experiences, like in the flesh, like physical ET contact, UFOs, I have a playlist tagged below for you guys about my ET contact experiences. It's down there for you. You know, the main thing that they always show up when I start basically getting caught in the human cycle, is what I'm referring to it right now. It's like this hamster wheel that you run on. It's like all of a sudden you shove your head up your butt, you completely like stop enjoying life, and you start stressing about everything. That's what happens when all of a sudden they start showing up again for me. They just start popping up all over the place. So to me, I always get this reflection from them. And the energy that they radiate, I get these downloads. And I've had a conversation with a Pleiadian in the astral realm where we actually spoke about the manifestation of reality. And that's why what I'm going to share with you is how ETs manifest. And it's the number one message that I always get from ETs. And it's this simple. Ready? It's going to blow your guys' minds. Actually, it might not blow your mind because you might already know this. But I think you'll see in a second with what I'm about to share that maybe your knowing of it is actually what's getting in your way. And this is what it is. This is how ETs manifest. You okay, Lightning? What's going on? I just heard him like yelp over there. He's like off in the trees exploring. This is how the ETs manifest. This is what they tell me. Just be. Just be. Be who you are. Just be. Exist. When was the last time you actually sat in a room with a friend or just yourself and just sat there and existed just for the sake of existence? When was the last time your mind was so exhausted and so tired that your mind went to sleep, but you were still awake, sitting there with no thoughts to torture you? And all of a sudden, because your mind's not in the way, you start noticing how beautiful your room is. Man, I love my room. I love my dog. I love my partner. Oh, I love what I do. Like, I love living life. I love going on hikes. I love where I live. Like, all of a sudden, this massive appreciation starts radiating out of you naturally, because that's who you really are. That's your natural state of being, is bliss, is appreciation, is being in the moment. Like, that's actually where our power is. That's where manifestation actually takes place. Right here, right now, when you are being that power. But what ends up happening for us humans, and I know this because I do it all the time, I see so many of my friends doing it. And the hilarious thing is sometimes I'm walking around sharing all these manifestation tips and they're real. They're actually real. But like, I know that, but I'm not being it. And so it's not actually working for me. And I see this with some of my friends right now that live around me. Everybody's walking around and they know everything. They know all the answers, but they're not actually getting any results from those answers that they know because they're not being it. Now, there was a specific time in my life where I actually, here you go, Lightning. Check out this great stick, buddy. Good boy. Look at this guy. There was actually a time in my life where I completely stopped thinking and letting my mind get in the way. And I experienced such profound bliss and magic and power. It was honestly, it's a time in my life that I reflect on as being like, wow, like I was really in alignment. And it was actually, some of you guys may have been around the channel, I was actually talking about Lemurian quartz a lot at that time. I was in Mount Shasta. And a lot of that energy that I was reflecting to myself, some of you will remember who were there, was just be. That was the message I kept sharing. And the best part about that time of my life is it wasn't just a message that I was sharing. It was a message that I was being myself. I just was. I just am. I existed in this state of not stressing myself out, trying to figure out, I have to do this to do that. I've got to make this video for that. I need to figure out how I'm going to make rent because I'm not doing this anymore. Or now we're not making enough sales. Or even thinking about stuff like when you're walking around in your house, you start having mental conversations with people that aren't even there. Have you ever done that before where you're like hallucinating in your own mind a conversation or a conflict with someone where maybe they said something to you a week ago and it's still bothering you for some reason, and you're imagining having a conversation with them in different ways? Like, yeah, that'll show them. Like it judging, there's all this stuff that happens in our minds. And this is the key to ET manifestation. It's the number one message I always get from them. Wake up. Wake up out of your mind. Your mind is torturing you. It's getting in your way. All the things that you know, all the things that you're doing to try to manifest, those might be true on a certain level, but because of the way that we're actually doing them and focusing on them with so much resistance and insistence, with all these ideas in our head, we're constantly thinking, constantly. Well, then what happens is you're never actually here. You're never actually here in the moment to be here, to be yourself, to just feel that energy. Because I know, because I feel it, and I just started feeling it again, is that for a while now, I was caught in my thoughts and I didn't even realize it because I know what I'm sharing with you right now. And I knew it when I was caught up in my thoughts too. That's part of the problem with knowing. You know it so much that you're not actually being it, that you're not actually radiating that energy in an honest way, in a way that actually like works. And whenever I've actually aligned with this energy where I'm just being, there's no goal, there's no I'm going to do this for this reason. I'm going to do that, right? Because of this. I'm going to work on this and then that and then this. We have this whole idea, this whole roadmap. So I'm just trying to get lightning. This trail today actually has a lot of people on it, and he seems vibed by it today. Sometimes he's like, he doesn't mind, and then other times he gets like really triggered, right? So it's like the just being energy, what it actually feels like. It's kind of one of the hardest things to explain, because like any explanation you have of, oh, it feels like this or it looks like this, then your mind starts shoving it in a box. and you start trying to align with what your mind is thinking, but that's the opposite of what it is. You don't have to think about it. There's no analytics that have to come through. There's no evaluation of any of the information. There's no strategy. That's it. It's that simple. Just be. Just be who you are. The ET civilization that I connect with, I know exactly how their ET civilization operates. They're not a bunch of minds walking around thinking, oh, it's really important today that I finish this project. No, literally, not at all. They literally just be. And synchronicity, the path of the universe unfolding, aligns them all perfectly. They are always directly connected with whoever they're supposed to interact with that day. They didn't plan on it. They don't have to think about, okay, tomorrow, hey, Jim, 6 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to have lunch, right? Never. None of that happens. They just be, they just exist. And who they really are, the energy that they actually are, this frequency, this vibrational pitch that generates this energy and is a gift to everyone. It's a gift for them to be able to experience themselves in this way. They're just always in the right place at the right time. Always. Everything that they need is always right there. And if what they think they need isn't there, it's because they didn't actually need it. And they weren't thinking about needing it. And that's why it's there in the first place. So here's the key that I've learned. And it's the biggest message that I always get from the ETs when they show up in my life again. It's, I've been thinking too much. I've been trying too hard. I've been working too aggressively. I have this hilarious manifestation that happens to me all the time. When I get an idea in my head of this is something I want to work on, like something that has to do with my videos, for example, I focus really, really intensely on it. I go ham. I was waking up at like 2 a.m. every single day for like a month, just working on so much stuff. And all of a sudden, I got sick. Now, this is a manifestation that I have. I manifest sickness for myself to force myself to take a vacation and relax because my ego gets very intense. You can probably tell from the way I articulate and speak that my mind, it works on a certain level, that it operates very quickly. I'm considered high functioning by the doctors. If you know what that means, let me know, baby. That's what I'm considered. But that doesn't matter. You know, anybody who has a mind that thinks a lot and is very analytical and is very scientific and constantly evaluating things knows that at a certain point, it's not intelligent anymore. It's idiocy. If you can't set your mind down, if you can't stop it from constantly bullying you, from constantly talking, and when you're trying to go to sleep, for example, that's a clear sign that you are not being. You're not even being you. You're just basically stuck in a computer all the time, not actually experiencing real life. And this is the message from the ETs. And anytime that I've actually aligned with this energy for a prolonged period of time, like even for like at least a month of just being, and I actually am that and I don't get lost in my mind and all this silly stuff again, it's incredible because everything that I was trying to work on and manifest for myself suddenly shows up. And it's not always showing up in the way that I thought it was supposed to. But I would have never been able to receive what was coming to me if I kept thinking, and running around trying to do things on the human level. Because when you do that, you basically have your head shoved up your butt. You're not seeing what's actually here. You're not seeing the abundance. You're not hearing what the universe is trying to communicate to you. When you relax into who you are and you just be and you just exist, it all becomes very clear. And you're able to receive everything that's coming to you because you're not pushing it away. You're not pulling for this. You're just here with open arms and you love who you are. You just exist. That's how ETs manifest. There's no this step, then that step, then this, and that's how it works. No, they trust in who they are. And they know that by being who they are, everything will happen perfectly. They radiate this intense faith type energy, this very, very extremely high vibration that when they come to us on the human level and interact with us, those of you who have also had an ET contact experience, let me know if you can relate to this. I'm curious. Their vibe was so high, so trusting, so much faith, so much bliss that it kind of freaks your ego out. Like your ego on the human level in your mind is like, whoa, it's like panic. You feel fear, you get kind of scared because you're not used to that vibration. But you can be because it's actually who you are in your heart. That's who you really are. Most of us have been walking around life trying to find ourselves. I'm looking for myself. Am I over there? Is my success over here? Is this the purpose to my life? Hello? God, please, what am I doing? Help me. If you're constantly looking for yourself, then you're never actually going to see who you actually are because you're always looking somewhere outside. But who you are is right here, right now. Just be. That's what just being is. It's that simple. There's no explanation. There's no definition. There's no step by step. There's only you here now in this moment. That is the energy. That is the number one message that I get from the ETs. More than anything else, it's Nathan, just be. You're perfect. You've got this. You don't have to fight to be a success. You already are a success. Let yourself be that. Let yourself be who you are. You're a gift to the world. Just be you. It's that simple, you know? Now, this energy has been so transformational for me. And my partner has actually shared with me a perspective because I was talking to her about, well, it's interesting because the version of me that is like working really hard and doing a bunch, I realize I actually am excited to work on stuff like that. Like I've been making lots of courses and stuff. I'm building like an online vibes and frequency school right now. I know I kind of mention it sometimes, but I haven't really talked about it directly in a video yet. But that's kind of the project I'm working on. I'm building like a school that has courses and classes where people can learn what I wish I learned in school. Because like everything I learned in school and as a kid, I had to spend years unlearning because it was destructive and BS and held me back from being my true power. So that's where my inspiration came from to build this school. And I was going ham and I built a lot of courses. I've even got one talking about manifestation and being your highest vibration and all this cool stuff. And I told her, I was like, it's interesting because I enter this state sometimes where I get so excited to be a human on the human level and live the story of creation and identifying with the character, the ego character. I am Nathan. I'm a YouTuber. I'm making a school, right? And what's interesting is when I'm in that energy, I actually accomplish a lot. I create a lot. I'm a huge creator. I create so much content and stuff. And I actually do enjoy doing that. The difference is, are you able to feel who you actually are and be that and bring it in to what you do? The answer that I've learned for myself, it's not necessarily the same for everyone, isn't to just sit here on this rock all day and do nothing. Ah, yes, just being. That can be the first step for a lot of us. And I did that for like a year, basically. I just was like obsessed with meditation. That was like the answer to me at that time. And it really resonated. It was really relevant for me in that moment. And that version of me that was going through what I was going through. In that state, I learned what it felt like to be me and to just be that power and energy. At a certain point, I realized that I really do like the human experience, that I'm clearly here on purpose. And that's my way of exploring. I like to create content. I like to share with you guys. This is genuinely what I love doing. The proof of that is that I've been maintaining constantly posting content over the span of 3 years, no matter what I was going through or whether it was making me money or not. So that's a pretty good reflection that I actually love doing it, you know, because I quit a whole bunch of other stuff I attempted in my life when it didn't go well. And this has not gone well at many periods of times. And I kept doing it. So, you know, the idea that I'm meaning to share here is you can just be while doing. You can be the infinite, multidimensional, powerful being that you are while doing the human experience. Bring your being into your doing. And that's what I'm integrating and I'm learning. And that's actually why I've got my course below about manifestation, where I teach a lot of these things and I flesh it out. I've got that on sale right now below for you guys. I'm excited to throw it out there. So, you know, there it is. I make courses, guys. I'm building a school. Woo! So it's very exciting, you know. Who are you? What do you love to do on the human level? Because those things are relevant, but are you doing it for some kind of outcome? Like, are you doing it because you want some kind of fame? You want your family to love you? You want people to be proud of you? You want to make more money? Are you doing it because you feel like you have to, like this is something you have to do because that's what it means to be a human? Or are you doing something because it's who you are in your actual being? Is it really who you are? Because if you can find what it is that you love to do that is also in alignment with who you are in your being, this is what the ETs are perfecting by simply trusting the universe and the synchronicity of it all. That's literally how they're doing it, at least the ones I've interacted with. The ones I've interacted with, many people refer to as the Greys and also Pleiadians. So that's who I'm talking about. I'm sure there's other civilizations out there operating in different frequencies. But those that I interact with, that's what they're always showing me and sharing with me is that energy. Just be who you are. Trust the universe. Everything is okay. You are always taken care of, always. If there's something that you think you're supposed to be doing and you don't have what you need to do it right now, it's clearly not what you're actually supposed to be doing, or those things would be here. Right now, there's something in your heart that is relevant to you, a purpose, a beautiful magic that is your being unfolding into your doing. I guarantee you right now that you can start acting on who you really are and moving towards that in this very moment. There is something you can do. For me, that's making this video, right? But sometimes we have these huge ideas of what we think it's supposed to look like, and we reach and we reach and we reach. And when we're in that state, we're not able to actually be here and be our best self, the one that would actually succeed, you know? Like for me, when I'm super stressed out about my content or I take it super seriously, God, my channel hasn't been growing for so long. What's happening? I need to think about topics that are popular and people are going to like. While I'm being that frantic version of me and I'm making the videos, I'm not in the right vibrational state to actually make good content that would actually be received well and actually take off. The version of me that's relaxed and is just being, that's the vibrational state of being where you will actually generate the energy that is key to manifestation. Isn't that so hilarious? So thank you guys so much for subscribing. I've got tons more videos coming out where I am talking about ET contact experiences, more stuff about manifestation. I love these topics. Absolutely, I do. And thanks for liking this video if you liked it. I do appreciate that. And I'll see you guys for the next video. Much love.